Now let's see this question. There are 100 questions in a question paper. Each correct attempt fetches 1 mark and each wrong attempt attracts a penalty of 1/3 of a mark. How many different integral scores are possible for a student who attempted exactly 80 questions in the paper? Now he has attempted in all 80 questions. I assume that X questions are correct and 80 minus X are incorrect. Now for every correct marks he is getting 1 mark for every correct answer, right? So in all X correct numbers will be getting X marks. Now X is obviously an integer. Now for incorrect 80 minus X, he is losing 1/3 of the marks, right? Now I want this to be integer because already I am having X as an integer. So an integer is added to an integer will be getting an integer, right? So 80 minus X should be an integer. 80 minus X by 3 should be an integer. For that 80 minus X should be multiple of 3. Okay, so I have to find out the values of X for which 80 minus X is divisible by 3. Now how do we find out that? Now 80 is what? It's a 3x plus 2 format, that is 78 plus 2. 78 is multiple of 2. So if any number is 3x plus 2 format and if other number which is in 3x plus 2 format or 3n plus 2 format, if we deduct, right? So the remainder is divisible by 3, right? That means if a 3x plus 2 format number is deducted by another 3x plus 2 format number, then the remaining is divisible by 3. Suppose I take an example, maybe 2, 5, right? Or this is a 3x plus 2 format, this is 3x plus 2 format. So if I deduct 2 from 5, the remainder, that's the remaining number, that's 3, that's divisible by 3, right? So 2, 5, 8, similarly you can go up to 80. That means the common difference that is set between them is 3 only. Okay, so how many elements will be there? Just this is an AP. 80 is equal to 2 plus n minus 1 into 3. So 80 minus 2 is 78. 78 divided by 3 is 26. So n is equal to 27. So in all there are 27 values of n, or over here we can say X, that can make this number as integer, right? If you put 2, if you put 5, if you put 8, right? In every case you'll be getting 80 minus X is divisible by 3, so you'll be getting an integral value over here, right? So integral value deducted from integral value will be getting integer. Okay, so in all 27 is the correct choice. That means 27 different integral scores are possible, right? I hope you are clear. Now I have this question. How many 6-digit numbers comprising of only 6 and 8 and are divisible by 3? Now friends, how many 6 are there? Doesn't matter, because 6 individually is divisible by 3 and the divisibility test of 3 is what? Sum of digits must be divisible by 3. So if you have all 6's, it will be divisible by 3. Okay, because if you add up, definitely it will be multiple of 6 and multiple of 6 will be multiple of 3. Okay, so we have this one number. Similarly, for other combination, see, if we have 3 6's, then it will be divisible by 3, right? And if we have 3 8, okay, then it will also be divisible by 3, because 3 8, that means 24, the sum will be 24. So if 24 is divisible by 3, the entire number is divisible by 3, right? So 666, 888, that is also divisible by 3. So if we have 3 6's and 3 8's, how many numbers can be formed? So these are 6 factorial. We can make 6 factorial divided by 6 is repeated for 3 times and 8 is repeated for 3 times. So it's 720 by 6 into 6. So in all 20 numbers can be formed, okay, which are formed by 3 6's and 3 8's. 3 6's and 3 8's. Okay. Similarly, all the numbers, all the digits are 8's. Now 8 6 times, that means 48. If 40 is divisible by 3, then the entire number will be divisible by 3. So we have one more number. So 1 plus 20, 21 and 1, 22 numbers can be formed which are having the digits as 6 and 8 only, and they are divisible by 3. Okay, you just have to apply the divisibility rule of 3, nothing else. I hope you are clear. Now friends, let's see this question. If the roots of the equation are in the ratio 2:4:5 and C is 320, find the value of B. Now it's very simple. Maybe the roots are 2k, 4k and 5k. So 5 into 4 is 20, 20 into 2 40. So 40k cube is 320, right? That is product of the roots is the constant term. Okay, so 40k cube is 320. So k is equal to 2. That means the roots are 4, 8 and 10, right? These three are the roots of this cubic equation. Now what is the coefficient of x? That is sum of the roots in pairs. That means AB, if the roots are maybe PQR, then sum of the roots in pair, that means PQ plus QR plus PR. That is coefficient of x. Okay, so sum of the roots in pair, in this case what it will be, 4 into 8 32, 8 into 10 80 and 10 into 4 40. So 80 plus 40 120 and 120 plus 32 is 152. Okay, so that will be the value of P. That is the coefficient of x, and that is sum of the roots in pairs. Okay. Now friends, let's see this problem. The index of the highest power of 3 that divides this number. Here we can see numbers 10, 11, 12. The digits of these numbers are written side by side. Until 69 the same form has been continued, right? Now what's happening over here, there are so many digits, right? Maybe around 130 140 digits. So actually we cannot divide the number by 3 or by 9 or by 27 or by 81 to check it out, right? So what we have to do, we have to apply the divisibility rule of 3. Now there are two rules. One is the divisibility rule of 3, that is the sum of digits must be divisible by 3, and the second thing is sum of 3 consecutive number is always divisible by 3. That you should keep in your mind. Sum of 3 consecutive number is always divisible by 3. Now you start with 10, 11 and 12, right? I have to see whether 1, 0, 1, 1 and 1, 2, whether it is divisible by 3 or not. Since 10, 11 and 12 are 3 consecutive numbers, so their sum will be divisible by 3 and sum of digits is divisible by 3. That means this combination of these 3 numbers or 6 digits is divisible by 3. Same thing will happen over here, 13, 14, 15. Right, then 16, 17, 18. The same thing will go at the till n. Now we don't know what is the n number over here. So this 10 is 3x plus 1 format. So the last 3x plus 1 format is 67. So 67, after that 2 more numbers are there. So this is also a one combination of 3 consecutive numbers. So this entire expression will be divisible by 3. You don't have to calculate it. It's definitely divisible by 3, right? Okay. That means at least it is divisible by 3. Now we have to check whether the same number is divisible by 9 or not. Now for 9, how do we check? See what is the divisibility rule of 9? That is sum of digits must be divisible by 9. Apart from that, one more fact is 9 consecutive numbers, their sum is always divisible by 9, right? If we have 9 consecutive numbers, their sum will be definitely divisible by 9, right? So 1 0 1 1 1 2 till 6 3 6 4 6 5 6 8 6 9. If we start taking 9 consecutive numbers, their sum will be definitely divisible by 9. So if we start from 10 11 12, if we go till 18. Okay, so up to here the sum will be divisible by 9. Similarly from 19 to 27, right? 10 to 18, similarly from 19 to 27. Okay, so what is the last number? What is the last combination of number that's available over here? Is 10 is 9x plus 1 format. So we can start from 63 is 9x format. So 64, 65, 66, 67, 68 and 69. Before that, up to 63, will be getting combination of 9 numbers, consecutive numbers. So till here the sum is divisible by 9, right? So whatever is the remainder, if any, will be getting from this expression. Now how do we get the remainder if the remaining expression is divided by 9? See, 64, if it is divided by 9, remainder is 1. 65, if it is divided by 9, remainder is 2. Keep on adding the remainders. Similarly, here remainder is 3, here the remainder is 4, here the remainder is 5, here the remainder is 6. Now add up all these remainders and let us see what happens if this sum is divided by 9. If 5 plus 4, 9 has gone, 6 plus 3, 9 has gone, so we are left with 3. That means if this expression is divided by 9, the remainder will be 3. That means if the entire expression is divided by 9, the remainder is 3. Okay, that means this expression is actually not at all divided by 9. That means this expression is only divisible by 3. That means what is the highest power of 3 that will divide this? That's just 1 only. Okay, because even this expression is not divisible by 9. Here we have used two rules. The sum of 9 consecutive number is divisible by 9, and sum of digits, if it is divisible by 9, the number will be divisible by 9. So I have clubbed both of them and got this solution. Okay. So friends, if you wish to find out a remainder when any number is divided by 9, you can easily calculate. Just keep on eliminating 9. Suppose you have this number, whatever, right? So you just start eliminating 9. 7 plus 2, 9, 8 plus 1, 9, 6 plus 3, 9, 5 plus 4, 9. So we are left with 2 plus 3, that's 5. So if this number, this big number, is divided by 9, the remainder will be 5 only, right? The same funda I have used to solve this question. Okay, I hope you are clear. Now further, this question, find the remainder when this expression is divided by 1000. Now 1 factorial is what? 1. So 1 cube is 1 only. 2 factorial is 2, so 2 cube is 8. 3 factorial is 6, so 6 cube is 216. 4 factorial is 24, so it's 24 cube. 5 factorial is 120, so 120 cube, and so on. Now we have to divide this expression by 1000 and get the remainder. So you can see 120 cube will be getting 3 zeros at the end if we expand this. So now onwards, if the expression is divided by 1000, no remainders will be obtained. That means we can say remainder will be 0. So whatever the remainder, that can be obtained from this expression only. So it's 1 plus 8 plus 216 plus 24 cube we have to calculate. So it's 24 cube, it's 13824, 576 into 24, just multiply, so we'll be getting 13824. Now if it is divided by 1000, remainder will be just 824. I just take out strike out 13. So 824 plus 216 plus 8 plus 1. Now I have to add up all these numbers, and whatever is extra from 1000, that will be the remainder. Now this is 216. Okay, so if 216 plus 824 divided by 1000, remainder will be 40. So that 40 plus 8 plus 1. So 48 plus 1, 49 will be the remainder. Okay, isn't it quite easy? Just have to apply the simple concept over here. I hope you are clear. Now let's see this question. If A and B are the lengths of two sides of a triangle and the angle included between the two sides is 60 degree, if the length of the bisector of the angle between the two sides is 2, then harmonic mean of A and B, that we have to find out. Now I just draw the triangle. Now I have this triangle, this length A, this is length B, and the angle included between them is 60 degree. So this complete angle is 60 degree. Now this is the angle bisector. If the length of the bisector is 2, that means this is the length 2. This is bisector, that means this angle is 30 degree, this angle is also 30 degree. Now you must be knowing the sine formula to find out area of a triangle. What's that? Half product of the side into sine theta, where theta is what? The angle between these two sides, right? So the same funda I am applying over here. What I'll do, suppose this is triangle ABCD. Now what is the application that I'll be doing over here? It's the area of triangle ABD plus area of triangle ADC is equal to area of triangle ABC. Okay, that means area of this triangle plus area of this triangle is the area of the complete triangle, and I'll be using this formula to find out the area. Now half of A into 2, area of this triangle ABD, A into 2 into what is the angle between these two sides is 30 degree. So half A into 2 into sine 30 degree plus half B into 2 into sine 30 degree is equal to area of the complete triangle. That's half A into B into sine 60 degree. The complete angle is 60 degree. So half A into B into sine 60 degree. Now you just have to solve. Half can be taken as common, so it will be cancelled. Now sine 30 degree is what? It's half. So 2A into half. So that's A only. 2B into half. So that's B only. Is equal to AB. Sine 60 degree is what? Root 3 by 2. Okay. That means AB upon A plus B is this side, so it's 2 by root 3. Now what is harmonic mean between A and B? That's 2AB by A plus B. So we got AB by A plus B. So what 2AB by A plus B? That's 4 by root 3. Okay. So what is the harmonic mean between A and B is 4 by root 3. Okay. I hope you are clear. A simple application of sine formula to find out the area of a triangle. Okay. Now friends, let's see this problem. There are two group of workers G1 and G2. There are 30 workers in G1 and 60 in G2. So G1, G2, 30 and 60. Each worker in G1 works 3 times as fast as any worker in G2. If all the workers in G1 together plot a certain field in half a day, then find the time taken by all the workers in G1 and G2 together to plow a field whose area is 50% more than that of the first field. Now if we compare, it's G2. See, capacity of these workers is 1/3 of this G1. That means these 60% are equivalent to 20%. Okay. So in all, these are 50% of equal capacities. Now, if all the workers in G1 plot a certain field in half day, that means 30 workers can do a work in half day. That means, so 30 workers can do this work in half a day. So 50 workers, that means 30 of G1 and 20 of equivalent capacity from G2. So 50 workers can do the same work in X days. So we can find out the value of X, and the variation is inverse. So 30 by 50 is equal to X by half. So that's 2X, right? So it's 3 by 10 days. That means if 50 workers are that means G1 and G2 both of them work together, then this work will be finished in 3 by 10 days. But area should be same. But in this case, which is asked over here, the area is 50% more. That means the time will also be 50% more. That means 3 by 2 of 3 by 10. So 3 by 2, that's 9 by 20. Okay, so how much time will it take? 9 by 20 days. I hope you are clear. Now friends, let's see this problem. A car started from city A towards city B and travel a certain distance at its usual speed, whatever, maybe X, or we can assume X. It then developed an engine problem because of which its speed decreased by 10%, right? Maybe somewhere here we can assume that the engine problem is developed and speed is decreased by 10% for the remaining distance, and it arrived at its destination 1 hour later than the expected. Now just listen to me carefully. If speed is 10% decrease, that means speed is now 9 by 10, right? If speed is 9 by 10, then the time taken will be 10 by 9, right? That means 1 plus 1 by 9. That means 1 by 9 will be extra. Now that 1 by 9 is what? 1 hour. Okay, so 1 by 9 is equivalent to 1 hour. That means normal time to cover up that distance is 9 hour, right? That means normally if this train is going or this car is going, if it doesn't have any problem, so this distance will be covered up in 9 hours. Okay. Now the next thing, had the engine problem developed after it had traveled 20% more distance, maybe somewhere here, right? So it would have arrived at its destination 10 minutes sooner than it actually did. Now, from here, if we talk about the speed is going 9 by 10, so the time will be 10 by 9, so 1 by 9 is extra. Now 1 by 9 is equivalent to, here it's 10 minutes sooner, that means 1 by 9 is actually 50 minutes, or we can say 5 by 6 hours. That means the total distance can be covered in 9 into 5 by 6, that's 3 and 2, 7.5 hours. That is the normal time that would take if the problem has occurred over here. Now friends, in both the cases this difference is what? 9 and 7.5. That means this difference is what? 1.5 hour. Now 1.5 hour, that means 1.5 hour we can say. So 1.5 hour is the difference because of this 20% distance. Isn't it? This part. So 20% of the distance can be covered up in 1.5 hour, that is 3 by 2 hour, or we can say 1.5 hour. So 20% distance is covered up in 3 by 2 hours. That means 100% distance will be covered up in 7.5 hours, right? So from here to here, the distance or the normal time which it takes is 7.5 hours. Okay.